Facebook. Come on in YouTube. We're getting ready to start my show, Jimmy Rants. Over on Instagram, I am right on the time that I need to be going live over at Instagram. So we're going to get this show on the road pretty darn quick. I noticed yesterday that my power was going low in a couple of my devices, so I had to get little chargers for those devices. That's the Facebook feed and the Twitch feed. For some reason, those devices drain faster than my MacBook Air, which I have plugged in, and then my iPhone 11. So got you plugged in today so we don't run out of juice. Hello, Bev. Welcome, welcome. All right, so we're going to get this show on the road. It is Ask Me Anything today, so get your questions ready for Ask Me Anything. Hello, David. Thank you for being here, you guys. And here we go. It's my 16th low-carb anniversary today, and it's Ask Me Anything. Happy New Year. JimmyRants.com is the website, and as always, you can engage live in the content. Come follow me right here. I'm on Instagram. It's easy to find me over on Instagram. We make it real easy. The show's called Jimmy Rants, so we go to Jimmy Rants over on Instagram. So go follow that username, and we go live 11 a.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday. Thank you so much for being here today. We also simulcast over on Twitch, as well as on my Facebook page and on YouTube. Thank you all for being here today. If you missed the live, you can watch it on the replay over here at the Jimmy Rants Instagram page. We put it up on IGTV just as soon as this is over. We also put the past episodes up over on YouTube. If you type in a keyword Jimmy Rants, you will find the show over there. Then finally, we do have a website for this show. What else would it be? JimmyRants.com is the website. And while you're there, you can see all the past episodes. And we really, really appreciate you being here today for the show. So Happy New Year, everybody. I know this was kind of a risk today to go live because I was like, who's actually going to be around on January 1st, but it's not like Christmas Day last Friday. Nobody would have been here on Christmas Day. But I figured today, most of the festivities with New Year's Day either happened last night. Like, did you guys have fireworks going off at like 9 to midnight? It was around here in South Carolina. Or tonight, I guess, is when you might have plans. But of course, the virus has changed everything about all of that. I was watching some of the video of the ball dropping, and it was so surreal seeing New York City Times Square empty. Like, did anybody watch that? It was kind of weird to see nobody in New York City, which I never thought in my lifetime I would ever see a New Year's Eve where there wasn't like thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people all smushed together right there in Times Square. But it is a different time we're living in, isn't it? So today, you guys, is a very special day for me. We are going to get, by the way, to Ask Me Anything here in a minute. So if you have questions, this is your opportunity to ask me anything. Literally whatever you want to ask, just put it down in the comment section. And here in a minute, I will come to you guys. But January 1st holds a pretty cool significance in my life, because it was 16 years ago on January 1st, 2004, that I decided to go on a low-carb diet. Now, that day that I started, I remember it was this day 16 years ago. I was desperately driving all around trying to find a scale that would weigh me. And because I had no scale here, I think the highest the scale went here was 330 pounds, and it went error. I was like, E. And so then I started like driving around to different gyms, and a lot of the gyms, their max was like 350 pounds. So I'm thinking, okay, this is kind of wackadoodle. Finally found a Gold's Gym. And at the Gold's Gym, they had a scale that would go up to 500 pounds. So I thought, okay, I'm definitely not 500 pounds. And I step on the scale, and the first number I saw was a 4. And my heart just dropped, because in my mind, I never imagined I had gotten that big and gotten that heavy. But the reality of it's basically hit me pretty hard once I stepped on that scale, saw the 4, and went, oh my gosh. Like, what I knew was a problem was a bigger problem than I even realized. And for me, at the time, it was all about the weight and weight loss and making sure I lose weight. And that was kind of the focal point of everything I was doing, because that was the clear and present thing that needed to be dealt with. What I didn't know at the time, and what I have learned in the years since, is yes, the weight try to take care of, but more important is getting fixed, getting your inflammation lower, making sure you're not exacerbating the things on the inside that would directly impact your health. So for me, I started it as a New Year's resolution, just like I had done millions of times before. The reason I chose low carb was I got a diet book for Christmas the couple weeks before, or 1 week before the New Year's Day in 2004. And that Christmas present was Dr. Atkins' New Diet Revolution. And I remember reading that book from cover to cover between Christmas and New Year's and thinking, man, this guy is whacked out of his mind. How in the world do you live without eating carbohydrates? How in the world are you supposed to eat saturated fat? This guy's a cardiologist, talking about Dr. Atkins, writing this book and telling people to eat the very thing we know is going to clog your arteries and give you a heart attack and die. All of the kind of conventional wisdom that we've all been taught our entire lives, I bought into before I read the Atkins book. So then after reading the Atkins book, I go, you know, none of this makes a damn bit of sense, but I'm going to try it. And I tried it January 1st, 2004. So again, those of you joining us late, 16 years today that I have been living La Vida low carb. And it was today, 16 years ago. I remember that I just was all in on keeping the carbs low. And I remember this day and the next couple of days after this, 6 murder. Like those of you that have started low carb coming from a really crappy diet, you can definitely relate. So I was 410 pounds 16 years ago today. And I later did an analysis of my diet, of what kind of I was consuming on a daily basis as part of my standard American diet. Hold on to your hats, you guys. When I started my journey, the leading up to it, my average carbohydrate gram intake, hold on, here it comes, 15 to 1600 grams of carbohydrate a day. I am not exaggerating, because I regularly would guzzle Coca-Cola after Coca-Cola after Coca-Cola to the tune of about 16 cans a day. I would eat whole boxes of Little Debbie snack cakes. I would go by McDonald's in the morning. They'd have the 2 for $2 sausage, egg, and cheese biscuits. Then I would stop by the 7-Eleven and I would have the cinnamon bun or the cookie, the soft cookies, and a big gulp, super big gulp, double gulp, whatever gulp I could stick down this pie hole. And so when I started doing an analysis of the number of grams of carbs, because at the time I didn't care, didn't have any idea. Now I do. And that awareness is what happened January 1st, 2004. What started it was that journey. So guys, that year I wrote a book. I don't ever show this book on camera because I am not very proud of it, but this is my very first book that I ever wrote. And it was all about kind of the weight loss journey. And it's a very hokey looking book. Again, I am never writing a book like this ever again, but it was my first book that I did. And there is a part in the introduction here I want to read. As I look back on my life that began anew on January 1st, 2004, I will always remember that specific date as a significant life-changing mile marker that forever altered my future. It was on that fateful day that I was bound and determined to not only make losing weight my New Year's resolution that year, but also to make it my new life resolution once I lost it. Although I had tried many diets before, succeeding at weight loss on many of them, particularly failing to keep it off, somehow this time was going to be different. Little did I know just how incredibly different it would be. So when I wrote this book, it was all about weight loss, and that was kind of my focus. And that was October 2005 that book came out. So it was the October after I lost the weight in 2004. In the years that have followed, I have become more and more convinced that weight is not the primary purpose, that you should go low carb, keto, paleo, real food, whatever you're deciding to do, carnivore, whatever you're deciding to do. Weight loss is what the culture likes to put the focus on. What I think we need to put the focus on is metabolic health. And we're seeing that now more than ever before with this virus out there and the people that are succumbing to the virus. What is it that they're succumbing to? They're succumbing to the ramifications of poor metabolic health. So for me, when I started living La Vida Low Carb 16 years ago today, it was a weight loss journey. And now I realize that that's an incomplete picture. And I got a really nice comment, by the way, from a guy on Facebook just today. I'm going to show it on the screen on the main feed here. But he said, I've been eating an all-meat diet for over 3.5 years, which I learned from Sean Baker. I learned about you after beginning that journey. And what I take from your life is the value of passion and hard work. You don't look like the poster boy for keto. And I get a lot of comments to that effect. You don't have ripped abs, but you do have an incredible work output, a genuine desire to help people, and a passion for embracing your authentic self. Those things come through in everything that you do. We can all learn something from your example and your inspiring. So I was very grateful for that very kind comment. And in my heart of hearts over the years, where I have put on some weight again from that initial weight loss, like this is what I looked like when I lost the weight initially. And so obviously that was 16 years ago, but that's what I look like, or 15 years ago when I look like. And so for me, it's very easy to go down the trap of, well, I probably shouldn't talk about low carb anymore. I probably should not be out there with my voice anymore because I don't look the part. And I get it. I get it that people have that expectation that when you have a weight loss success story, I don't think anyone that hasn't put themselves out there after doing something like that, put themselves out there as a success story. I don't think you realize the pressure that comes from that. And a lot of you do. Some of you that watch my stuff, you are out there. You have made a social media channel. You have tried to make something of trying to educate and help inspire other people. But I've been doing this for a long time now. 15 years online, 16 years ago today, starting this diet. And I obviously had no idea what was me when I started writing about this stuff online. And by the way, there's a kind of a story there. So in November of 2004, after I'd lost a significant amount of weight, I did end up losing 180 pounds that year, but I think I'd lost about 160, 165. I heard from the Atkins company, you lost weight doing our diet. I said, yeah, a little bit. And so they featured me on the front of their website. And so I got a lot of interest from people that say, hey, where's your book? Where's your blog? And I had to do something with that. And of course, I'm a natural writer. I was not as natural a speaker then as I am now. Hard to believe, I know. Feels like I probably have talked since I came out of the womb, but I actually didn't learn to talk until I started podcasting and really kind of honing that craft. And so that's what got me into blogging and coming up with Living La Vida Low Carb as a moniker, and then all the other things that you now know me for. So, but like over the years, I've had these vacillations in my mind. Okay, you had a great success story. That's some of the lies I have told myself. You had a great success story. Your day has come and gone. Maybe it's time for you to get out of the way. other people that had real success stories keep the message going. Head go down that path, the more I realize that's robbing you guys of an opportunity to hear wisdom from somebody that's done this for a long time. Am I the perfect body type? Not even close. Am I somebody that demonstrates parts of living low carb, living keto, and living this lifestyle over a long term that maybe need to be seen? I sure think so. I think my energy levels, my ability to think and think quickly, the ability to communicate in easy to understand language. I think we all have time. I kind of get that feeling of, all right, maybe my time has come and gone in this community. I always hearken back to those things. What would this community be like if I just disappeared forever? And I don't want to go away, quite frankly. And I don't plan on going away. I think I have too much left to talk about. And I feel like I'm just barely scratching the surface at some of the reasons why we still collectively, those of us that still kind of have weight on our bodies, some of the reasons why. And it goes well beyond diet. Like, I think we put so much emphasis on nutrition as kind of this sole savior when it comes to your weight that we neglect all the other things. We give pretty good lip service to movement as well. So basically, diet and exercise almost always get lots of lip service. What we don't get is dealing with stuff in your life, because stress is incredibly impactful in a negative way. And I've been very open this past year about some things that I'm going through personally in my life, on top of everything else that's been in everybody's life. And it has such an impact on you that you don't even realize. So I feel like that's my value now, is being a thought leader, being an opinion maker, and sharing from my heart. Because quite frankly, a lot of the people in the low carb kind of keto space now, bunch of shysters in there. I'm not going to point fingers. There's a lot of people, and you guys know this. I'm preaching to the choir with you guys. You follow me because you appreciate that I'm a real dude who is out here living this life. And really right now, I'm not making any money off of what I'm doing. I'm doing this for the love of it. There's some people out there that they're doing it for as many dollars as they can suck out of you as possible. Now, I'm not against capitalism. If somebody wants to make a buck off of doing something to help you, and they offer a good service and you're willing to pay for that service, go for it. But I do think there's a lot of greediness that has entered into the low carb, keto, and even some of the carnivore world that's going to be its demise. So I say all that to say that on this 16th anniversary of starting my low carb lifestyle change, I am so proud of the things I've been able to do, the people I've been able to impact. I mean, I get literally emails every single day about somebody that read this book. One of 9 books I've read, but they've read this book and they say it changed. Does that mean my life is now worthless? I don't think so. I think it just means that I have an ability, at least with that book, to communicate something that helped a lot of people. And in my eyes, that is nothing but a good thing. So today I stand pretty proud. January 1st, 2020, 16 years after starting at 410 pounds, wanting to lose weight desperately, wanting to feel good desperately, not knowing if this was going to work. And I remember after those first few days of hell, and it was hell, I was literally sprawled out on the couch. Oh my God, this is horrible. But I went from 1,500 grams of carbohydrate down to 20. Boom. And I felt every bit of the withdrawal symptoms from the sugar. But then I felt good and I kept it going. Lost 30 pounds in that first month. Started exercising in the second month because I was getting a lot of energy. I lost another 40 pounds the second month. 100 pounds after 100 days. And I'm going, okay, there's something to this. And it was something that I was like, for the first time in my entire life, I felt like I had 2021. Thank you, Beth. Not 2020. Thank you. It's hard to get that in your brain once you kind of say 2020 so much, and then you flip to the new year, and like everybody's going to write checks 2020 if you still write checks. So, but little did I know that this was going to be the thing that I would keep doing. But you keep doing it because it's easy to keep doing it once you kind of get going on it, right? Those of you can attest to that. So, all right, this is Ask Me Anything. Welcome on Jimmy Rants. And so this is your opportunity. Literally ask me any question that you want. This is your opportunity. We do this on Fridays where we open up the floor. Twitch, Ask Me Anything, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of you get your questions ready. When the time comes, I will be coming to you. I do have a few articles because I told the story about my 16th low-carb anniversary. I don't know how many of these I'll get through, but I do want to touch on a few of them, and I'll come to you guys soon. This is from NPR. Are you still disinfecting surfaces? I go to stores all the time, and you see them spraying down all the carts and spraying down surfaces. Go to the post office, and after each customer, they're spraying down everything and wiping it and all these chemicals in the air. And you see all those pictures of the kids after the kids leave the classrooms and the schools, and they're going in with the full suits and the little fumigator things cleaning. They're now saying disinfecting surfaces might not be worth it if we're trying to prevent 9,1-divoc. So disinfectant sprays and wipes have sold out everywhere in stores. Scientists have learned a lot this year. And it turns out all that scrubbing and disinfecting is probably completely unnecessary. If a person infected with the coronavirus sneezes, coughs, or talks loudly, droplets containing particles of the virus can travel through the air and eventually land on a surface. But the risk of getting infected from touching such a surface contaminated by it is very low, according to a microbiologist at Rutgers University named Emmanuel Goldman. In hospitals, they have tested surfaces in and around 9,1-divoc patients, and what they found was no infectious virus could be found. What they do find is what's called viral RNA. It's a corpse of the virus. That's what's left over after the virus has died. They don't find anything that's infectious. You can't get sick off of that. And that's because it's very fragile. Once it enters into the atmosphere, it begins to decay very, very quickly. Back in January and February, scientists and public health officials thought surface contamination was a problem. Early studies said that the virus could probably live on surfaces for days. It was assumed that transmission occurred when an infected person sneezed or coughed, and that you would get the disease simply by touching those surfaces. I'll tell you what, when I've gone into stores, I still pull up my shirt and I'm opening the door with my shirt. But it turns out that the 9,1-divoc can't live on those surfaces. So people have been advised to clean with disinfectant, but it was overkill. All the evidence points now toward breathing in the virus from the air as the most important route of transmission. So isn't that interesting? All these people had these disinfectant wipes, and they've been obsessively cleaning everything. I know my sister at the beginning of the pandemic would go buy groceries for my mom. And before she would put the groceries away, she had a disinfectant wipe, wiping down the entire packaging of all these foods that she bought for mom. Turns out that was unnecessary. Isn't that interesting? All right, so this next one, a study on flu V-word rates suggests that 9,1-divoc immunity may be difficult to achieve. An analysis of flu V-word rates by state during the 2019-2020 season revealed it may be very difficult to V-word a majority of the countries for SARS-CoV-2 to reach sufficient levels of immunity against it, so the so-called herd immunity. While there are important distinctions between 9-1-Divock and seasonal flu, including that 9-1-Divock is much more serious and the public's receptivity to a V word may differ, these findings suggest there may be significant challenges to achieving equity in distribution and sufficient levels of immunity. So the analysis was conducted by the Kaiser Family Foundation. They found that 52% of the U.S. population received a flu V word last year, with V word rates ranging from 44% in Nevada and as high as 61% in Rhode Island. Less than 50% of the population received a flu V word in 12 states, mostly in the South. Additionally, each state, as well as the District of Columbia, had less than 70% population V-worded for the flu, So their concern, you guys, is that we won't reach herd immunity. And of course, if you listened to my Jimmy rants yesterday, which I got a really interesting negative comment from a guy on YouTube about, you know that they are pushing this hard using psychological ploys and tactics and tricks to try to fool you into taking this when your gut tells you don't take this at all. And now Dr. Fauci saying that we need a 90% rate of people getting the V word in order for us to achieve herd immunity. So they're concerned, even if we do get this out there widespread and a good portion, let's just say it's just like a seasonal flu V word. Let's say that many people take it. That's still only 50% of the population. How do you get to that other level? And my fear is the way you're going to get there is they're going to force it on us eventually. It's coming. Just you wait. Next headline, France's draft law could ban anti-V word people from using the public transport. A draft bill soon to be submitted for approval at the parliament in France states that people without proof of a negative 9-1-Divock test result will not be allowed to ride on public transportation. And this is where it's coming, guys. They think that they will be able to force you to take the V word by making your life more inconvenient. And so you need to use public transport and you can't prove that you have the antibodies in your system or that you have a negative 9-1-Divock test result, they won't let you on the public transport. There are concerns from opposition leaders who denounce it, saying this amounts to a health dictatorship that will attack personal liberties. Absolutely, that's what's going to happen. So it's going to be interesting to watch this over in France. According to opinion surveys, 55% of French people say there are no way Jose getting the 9-1-Divock V word. They're just not going to touch it. So let's see what happens. And on that, by the way, there's a CNN article. If you want to travel next year, you may need a V word passport, talking about this year, 2021. So they're really pushing now for this V word passport application. Several companies and technology groups have already begun developing smartphone apps and systems for individuals to upload the details of their 9-1-Divock tests and V words, creating digital credentials that could be shown in order to enter concert venues, stadiums, movie theaters, offices, or even countries. I wonder if you get it naturally and then you recover and you exhibit antibodies, can you put that on the phone and then that gives you entrance? But is then there a limit on it because, oh, you've got the antibodies, but we know they only last for 3 months. So therefore, you'll either need to get the V word at that point or get another antibodies test to see if they're still there. And of course, my friend Joshua, who's on here, he said they neglect the fact that, yes, antibodies do dissipate, but then T cells remember how to deal with that. So if it hits you again, it won't be harmful. This is going to get very interesting very fast. If they're going to have us all have to do this common pass, this is the name of it, common pass. You can already look up the app. It was created by the group, allows users to upload your medical data like a 9-1-Divock test result or proof of the V word by a hospital or medical professional. It will generate a health certificate and a pass in the form of one of those QR codes, this little squiggly code that you can and you show it to the authorities. They won't get any of your sensitive information. Supposedly for travel, it would be used at the points of departure and arrival. So if you're trying to go over to a foreign country, for example, and you go through customs and you can't show that QR code, they won't let you in the country. Well, number one, they won't let you get on the plane to begin with. I've taken several trips to Australia, and I know that they do all the kind of checking in as you're leaving the airport in America, because once you get to Australia, and it's a hella long flight. So once you get there, most of your paperwork's pretty much done. You're just kind of going through the formality of the end part of it. They do most of it on this end of things, so you don't get on that flight and then only to be turned around and come right back on that 16-hour flight. So you can be tested every time you cross the border. You cannot be V-worded every time you cross the border. He stressed the need for a simple and easily transferable set of credentials, a digital yellow card, referring to a paper document generally issued as your proof of having the V word. Several large tech firms are involved in this. IBM has their own app. This one, you guys, is called Digital Health Pass. It allows companies and venues to customize indicators they would require for entry, including having the coronavirus test, temperature checks, V-word records. Credentials corresponding to those indicators are stored in your mobile wallet. Apple and Google also have their own Bluetooth-based systems setting up. Yeah, so this is coming. This is what's going to become the reality, you guys. And that man right there ain't going to let anybody live their life again until they get the V word. And it just leads me to believe that they had all of this plan in place long before the last year. Let's stop pretending like that they're suddenly coming up with all these things. I think it's been in the works for many, many years. And now they have the opportunity to do what they've always wanted to do, whatever that is. I don't even know what it is, but at some point. All right, and then the last one, and then we'll come to your guys. Owners see 9-1 DIVOC ruling for Athletes Unleashed as a promising precedent. So this is in the Buffalo, New York area. Owners of the Orchard Park gym called Athletes Unleashed had a judge in the Supreme Court, the state there in New York State, Paul Washenzek. He granted a preliminary injunction allowing them to reopen their gym at full capacity. The orders from Governor Cuomo limited gyms in the orange zones to just 25%. His ruling affects any gym that wants to reopen. So now he's set the precedent, and I would say set the precedent across America, because if a state Supreme Court judge in New York State is allowing this to happen, there will be other judges that would be looking to that as precedent in making their own decision. So if you're a gym owner or you're a business owner at all, you need to listen to this story. The lawsuit was put out there. Gyms have endured 2 shutdowns this year. They've only been able to reopen at 25% capacity. And so they're hoping this ruling will encourage the governor to now allow gyms to go up to 100%, at least 75%. If he doesn't do that, they're going to look into another lawsuit, a class action lawsuit that would be across the state. The ruling will remain in effect indefinitely. They can now operate at 100% capacity. Legal arguments continue. Obviously, it's been appealed. The judge will hear further arguments coming up in February. That would be a long time, February, in challenging this. But it was a huge win for these gym owners. These poor guys have been just trying to stay afloat. I know in New Jersey, there's this guy, Ian Smith. If you're not following Ian here on Instagram, he is an entertaining dude. He's got this big old beard, and he's just badass as all get out. And he has defied their orders. In fact, they put plywood over the front of his business when they first shut it down. Plywood over his front door. You know what he did? Him and his co-workers, co-owners, they kicked it in and they got into their business and they reopened. And on a daily basis, they've been fined something like $16,000 a day every day they're open. He didn't care, because that's not going to hold up in a court. And we're already seeing now New York State is concurring. That ain't going to hold up. That's just not constitutional. You can't close a business like that and not give them an opportunity to earn a living. So good stuff out there. Good stuff, you guys. All right. If you're just joining us, this is Ask Me Anything on my show, Jimmy Rants. Thank you guys for being here today. We are live here on Instagram and Twitch and Facebook and on YouTube, everywhere, guys. I want you to ask me anything. This is your chance to literally ask any question that you want. I have a lot of knowledge about low-carb ketogenic diets, cholesterol, fasting, book writing, podcasting, building a brand, pretty much anything you want to ask about me. Everything is fair game. This is always fun to do on Fridays. And Happy New Year. It's 2021. Congratulations. You made it through 2020. Congratulations. I know some of us were doubting whether we were going to make it or not, but we're here. We made it to another year. So before I come to you guys, I did have a few questions come in ahead of time. So let's get to those voiced. How did you find out what really recharges you as a person? So for me, that's a loaded question. Thank you for that, though. For me, it's a lot of things. I find that I'm a naturally motivated person. I can pretty much go. So my problem isn't recharging. My problem is knowing when to stop. And so I know that about myself, and I actively do things to throttle my energy, my productivity, so I don't overdo it. Because I think sometimes in the midst of that go, I don't realize that maybe I'm breaking down. Maybe I need to step away to take a breather. So I'm very deliberate now in taking those breathers. I'm very deliberate now in the pace of my day-to-day, and even in the pace of the work in general. I pretty much go hard in the week, Monday through Friday. I just go, Monday through Friday. On the weekends, I chill. Now, I still do some stuff, but it's not near to the level. Like, as soon as Jimmy Rants is over today, I'm done until Monday. And Jimmy Rant starts again 11 a.m. Eastern time on Monday. So I pretty much go a full 3 days there where I just kind of, and that does recharge me. And I've been a self-starter pretty much my whole career online. I've always known how to do the job I need to do, and I do it. I don't hesitate. I just do it. And so learning to step away and learning that I don't have to go constantly is the way that I recharge as a person. But thank you for that question. Sergio says, you typed way too long and it cut it off. It says, for an older diabetic, do you recommend a keto diet to help remove them off of insulin? And it cuts you off. I'm assuming bring them back into health again, bring their A1C down. I'm just going to guess what you said the rest of the words. But yes, I don't think anybody, no matter what your age is, who is a diabetic, type 2 diabetic, let's make that distinction from type 1. Type 1 is autoimmune. Type 1, yes, you will be able to get benefit from eating keto as a type 1, but no, you can't come completely off of insulin. If you're type 2, no matter what your age is, yes, type 2 diabetics, no matter the age, could definitely benefit. But I would say work with a doctor who knows what they're doing. Don't just willy-nilly stop taking your insulin. but go ahead and put them on a well-formulated ketogenic diet with a doctor kind of watching all their markers, and they could easily bring their diabetes under control. Thank you for that question. Got one more, and then I'm coming to you guys. What do you do to get meaningful human connection? Oh, what a great question. Well, before 2020, it was go see them and hug them and be present. Well, that's a little bit harder now in the era of the evil 9-1 Divock out there. For me, throughout 2020, what did I do? I stayed in touch with friends, calling them on the regular, and having them in my life and investing and being vested in their lives. That meaningful human connection just means you need to care about them. Because the moment that we feel all alone is when that despair and anxiety and all the everything kind of like crushes you. And I've seen that happen for so many people this year. So if you're out there right now and you're feeling all alone and you're feeling like you don't have a meaningful human connection, guess what you can do? You can connect meaningfully with a human. And the way you do that is you meet a need. You're there in a time of trouble when they need you. I've been going through some really rough stuff, and I've got specific friends in my life that have pretty much talked to me on the regular. And I'll have other ancillary friends that will check in every once in a while. And you just develop those and be real about them, like sincerely. Like, we have that little colloquialism, how you doing? When nobody really cares how you're doing, but that's kind of what we say, isn't it? So when you say how you're doing, really want to know how someone's doing. And by doing that, you will create those meaningful human connections. But thank you for that. All right, you guys, it's your turn. We're going to come to you first to Instagram, then over to Twitch, then over to Facebook, finally over to YouTube. Thank you all for being here today on Jimmy Rants. See what questions you have for this Ask Me Anything. Definitely have lots and lots of people here today. Ask your questions, ask away. Joshua says, I heard about functional medicine 4 years ago. Then I stumbled across Rob Wolf. I did a carb tolerance test and realized just how powerful cutting carbs can be. Yeah, the carb tolerance test, there is this thing called a glucose tolerance test. If you've never had one of those before, it could definitely show you that you might have some level of insulin resistance where carbohydrate restriction could be helpful. And yeah, Rob Wolf is one of the OGs. When I started, it was 2005 when I started blogging. 2006, I started podcasting. Rob came along somewhere around circa 2008-9 on the scene. He wrote his book in 2010, The Paleo Solution, and then he started his podcast. And yeah, he's been I think they called him, when I was in the paleo world, they called him Baby Jesus, because I guess he had a lot of knowledge that he shared. And yeah, anyway, I always thought that was sacrilegious to call him Baby Jesus, but that's what they called him. Marnie says, when a person gains weight on keto, carnivore, other than having a thyroid issue, what do you see as the usual culprit? It could be a lot of things. You could have a tumor growing inside of you and not know it. That would be a reason why weight gain would happen. I do think is a huge aspect of it. So many of us have been under immense amount of stress. And my contention is that if you are insulin resistant, you are also stress resistant, meaning that when you get under stress as an insulin resistant body, it's going to impact you far worse than it would if you were insulin sensitive. And it makes sense, right? Like anything that would be harmful to blood sugar, which when you are insulin resistant and you get stress on the body, that stress is raising your blood sugar, raising your insulin levels, and that can pack on some weight. Even if you're eating keto and carnivore and all that. And I know people kind of poo-poo me when I say that, oh, that's a convenient excuse for you, you fatso. And I'm going, okay, is it not true though? Like, think it through rather than insulting me. Think it through. Is it logically possible that that could happen? And this is why a lot of my work, you guys, is shifting away from talking so explicitly just about the diet part and looking at more of these other parts of the puzzle. Now, other things that could be a culprit in gaining weight, you might have some kind of a gut bug in there. And a lot of people deal with those kinds of things. Yeah, I mean, there's just a myriad of reasons why you could gain weight even eating keto, carnivore. You could be way blowing past satiety and eating way too much. That also will lead to some weight gain as well. So hope that helps you out. Why you hate coffee? Oh, somebody read my post today. Doing this, ask me anything. You can ask me why I hate coffee. I am a hyper taster. So for some reason, I don't know why, I have hyper senses. So my whole life, touch, things that I touch, really sensitive to the touch, really good hearing, really good smell. If there's like bleach in the bleach could be in the bathroom in the whole other room, 3 rooms over, and I could still smell it. And taste, like things are really bitter to me. Things like raw broccoli, ugh, it's just gross. I can't go higher. 85% is about as far as I pushed the dark chocolate before it starts getting. And coffee's the same way. Coffee is so bitter. It's so gross to me. And I remember when I went to Australia the first time, and the guy that hosted me, Dr. Rod Taylor, super nice guy. He was taking me around, showing me some places. He said, "Hi, mate, you want to stop for some coffee?" I said, "Well, I don't do coffee. That's kind of nasty." He said, "Oh, mate, here in Australia, it's the best." I'm like, okay, I'll try your coffee, Rod. So I'm... He's like, "Mike, is it good?" I was like, at least I can swallow it, unlike the ones I get in America. So I just don't do coffee. And people are like, "How are you so energetic without coffee?" I just am. I don't need coffee. And I would argue, I'm going to piss off a bunch of you now. I would argue those of you that feel like you need coffee in the morning, you got some kind of something going on adrenal wise. You've got some other issues, because that coffee is not doing you any good. There's some studies out there that show it can mess with your triglyceride levels, having high levels of coffee. I think if you drink 1 or 2 cups, it's probably no big deal. But I know people that drink 6, 8, 10 cups. And it can mess with your triglycerides. It can mess with your blood sugar and insulin levels. So just be aware of that. But that's why Jimmy doesn't do coffee. Brio says, "Isn't a virus by definition not alive until it goes into our cells?" I'm not a virologist. I have no idea, Brio. I just know they said that when it hits the surface, it's dead. So I don't know if that dead, like let's just say you grabbed a handle that somebody sneezed and had this 9-1 Divock, and they touched it, and then you touched it and you got it, and somehow that touched your mouth and got in your body. Would that harm you? I don't know the answer to that. They're saying in that story that no, it would not harm you because it would need to be alive. But I guess flying through the air and then getting sucked into your mouth or your nose. I feel like the stores still wipe everything obsessively just for the optics. If they don't wipe, people will complain they're not cleaning. That's true, Holly. That is a big reason probably why they still wipe everything down, just because people will say, "Well, there was somebody just there. I don't know if I'm going to get this virus if you don't wipe down." And so, yeah, they kind of have to play the game, but it's unfortunate. The market for the fake V cards is about to be booming. I would not be surprised. Sergio says, "Population control. It's funny how Bill Gates gave a TED Talk 5 years ago about a global pandemic." Yeah, there's a lot of things that are creepy about Bill Gates that I will reserve for another day. Brio, is there a problem in the low carb space that you see as not being fully addressed or solved? Yeah. The massive amount of confusion. And I will say that Dr. Westman, my co-author on the Clarity books, and Amy Berger have attempted to resolve that with this book. So on the Living La Vida Low Carb show on Wednesday, I have an interview with End Your Carb Confusion. I think the major problem in the low carb keto space right now is there's so many opinions about how many carbs you eat, whether it's net carbs or total carbs, what constitutes a quality carb versus a bad quality carb, a good quality carb, on and on and on. Oh, if you're a woman, you need to be boosting up your carbs, especially post-workout, so that you'll have the glycogen for the next workout the next day. I think it's just madness that it has gotten to that level. When I first started blogging, it was just keep carbs low. It wasn't hard. You just kept it simple. And I think the convolution of the message is why keto is on the outskirts. Just going to be blunt with you guys. Keto as a movement is on the downturn, significantly so, because several reasons. The confusion about carbs and fats and all kinds of aspects of what keto is. That's one thing. I think all the people that have tried to monetize it, and you know that that's their motivation. If you go onto someone's site and all you ever see is sales, 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 like constantly, and they never feed into you for free, you can almost bet that they're in it for the wrong reasons. Now, I sell books. All of my books are available on Amazon. Go knock yourself out. Go buy my books. I'm not against capitalism. What I am against is making it your purpose and your reason for promoting the message. Because when I first came on the scene, there was nobody. And then even when I wrote Keto Clarity, which was only 6-7 years ago, there was not a lot of people talking about keto. Then keto started to get a little more popular, and people started talking about it more, and business people came in and saw an opportunity. And they flocked to the community, and there's a lot of brand new names that did not exist when I wrote Keto Clarity. And in fact, when you look at the names on the back that are my experts, these are the people that were around when I wrote Keto Clarity. And there's a lot more people around now that if you don't see their name on that list, they came after that book. And they took advantage of a trend. And they're riding that wave, and they've made a you-know-what amount of money off of a lot of people. It doesn't mean they're not providing a service, but a lot of that service came at the expense of, okay, you're going to have to pay for the knowledge I'm giving you. And I think that's wrong. My philosophy from day one, every single podcast I've ever done doesn't cost you a dime to listen to my podcast. All of these Jimmy rants, I don't even have ads on this show. I would like to, by the way, just so I could show you some things that would be helpful in your journey. And it would help keep me going. But at the time, I have nothing. But if I do have ads on my show, those ads enable me to make it free to you. And so I think there's too many people, though, that it's just so become a marketing thing, and they don't really believe in the message. Watch when it's on the total outskirts. How many of those so-called low-carb keto leaders jump ship to whatever the next trend is? And we saw it in the paleo world. There were several people prominent in the paleo world that as soon as keto became a thing, guess what? Keto books, keto podcasts, keto conferences. So now are they going to go the next thing and then the next thing? I guess that's good marketing, but to me, your authenticity and your ethics matters. Anymore anyway. But thank you for that question. Joshua says people definitely make it way more complicated than it needs to be. Go as low as you can in the carbohydrates without issues. Make sure the reason you can't go lower isn't insulin. Good point, Joshua. All right. Thank you, Instagram. I'm going to pop over here now. It doesn't look like anybody's on Twitch. Oh, I see people. Hi. Thanks for being here. I'm going to try to grow Twitch, because when all you know what breaks loose on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, Twitch is it. So guys, download the Twitch app. It's super easy. It's a fun app. It's free. And then look up Jimmy Moore Rants over on Twitch. And, come and engage with me over there. I would love to have 4 devices where I'm engaging with people. But Twitch, cat's got your tongue today, Twitch. But thank you for being here. I appreciate it. All right, let's come over here now to my Facebook page. What's up, Facebook? See what you guys have to say. I was asleep by 10 o'clock last night, says Berkeley. Yeah, for me, the normal time between like 7 and 8, I think it was close to 8 o'clock. Yes, it was very odd. I was glad to see essential workers were the ones that they let in the Times Square. Oh, that's cool, Amy. Maybe today can be the first day of going on keto carnivore. Yeah, for a lot of people, it will be. David said, do you love and enjoy living in Spartanburg, South Carolina? We live in New York City, but the city is going downhill fast, so I'm thinking about making a change. Yeah, a lot of New York City when your governor and your mayor decided to go off the deep end with all the tactics that they've used last year. Yeah, I love Spartanburg. It's people say, oh, it's a small town. It's not really a small town. I've been in some truly small towns where, like, if you sneeze, you miss the town. That's how small they are. In fact, in high school, where I grew up with my dad, I in a town called Bolivar, Tennessee. At the time, it was like population 3,000 people. That's a small town. I know people have much smaller, in the hundreds of people in a town. This here in Spartanburg, and it's got like a lot of little towns around it. And then the big town next to us is Greenville. So Spartanburg's probably 250,000 people in this like area. So it's not small, but it's cozy enough. There's enough little restaurants, and there's, I'm within a 5-mile radius. Everything I would want. There's a Sam's Club, there's a Costco, there's a mall, there's restaurants galore, there's grocery stores, there's farmers market. I mean, there's all kinds of things like within 5 miles of where I live. So I do love this town. I'm not sure because I am not completely divorced yet. When that's over, I may move away. I don't know, but I do love this area. I have nothing that ties me to this area. No family, no real close friends that I would hang out with, and da-da-da. So for me, it's a nice area of the country. And there's a lot of those all around. And it's pretty quiet too. Like when all the racial unrest started happening, I thought, okay, there might be pockets of it here. We didn't see anything here. And neighbors are pretty friendly. And so, yeah, I think the South is a glorious place to live. Just find where you want to go. Margie says, I now look at those Little Debbie snack cakes and I see poison and addiction. I don't know how I ever had an addiction to them. Well, we all did at some point. Little diabetes got us, didn't she? Berkeley says, I'm going to avoid setting any goals. If I don't achieve them, then it derails me. I will try to live in the moment, making the best choices for me at that moment. What do you think? I love it. I think some people are motivated by goals and resolutions and all that. But you're right. Like when they don't achieve them, or they don't achieve them in the time scale, the arbitrary time scale that they set up, they think they're a failure, and that works counterproductively to the original goal. So I like your idea. Amy says, I'm starting back today. I've done OMAD, 1 meal a day, in the past, which incorporates intermittent fasting. Since I've been doing a lot of carbs lately, will I more likely go into keto flu, or if I go into fasting, should I wean down and then fast? So my philosophy, Amy, thank you for that question. Wonderful New Year's Day question. So if you're trying to get back into it, don't jump into fasting at all to start. If you've been a carb burner, you need to fat adapt your body again. So before you attempt a fast, you want to get back into ketosis. So go full on keto. It's going to take you 2 to 4 weeks to get your body back into a state of nutritional ketosis. Prick your finger. You can use some of these little devices out there. I used to have a device over here that I showed on camera, but I don't see it right now. But test your ketones and get into a therapeutic level, which I would say once you're over 1.0, yeah, technically 0.5, you are in ketosis, but over 1.0, then you're probably pretty well adapted at that point. And then start incorporating the fasting, but not before. I think you need to get used to burning fat for fuel. Again, you'll know what that feels like. You'll get the more energy. Your brain will clear up. All the good things will start happening. But I wish you well in starting your journey again, Amy. Bev says, my eyes have been opened about the greedy peeps that I follow. Yeah, I mean, and I don't want to call anybody out, but quite frankly, it's disappointing, but it wasn't unpredictable because I was in the paleo world about a decade ago when it was popular. And I saw the greediness enter there. It became this trend that was organic, and all these people were real happy to kind of be, come together all under the real food and paleo, and they got real excited. And then you had shysters come in. Oh, if you're going to do paleo, you've got to do my way, my supplements and my program and my. And it became this pissing match. Create the next big book, program, resource, supplement company, blah, blah, blah. And it just became so biting at some point because people that were authentic in that community were like, well, wait a minute. That's not what paleo is about. And then, of course, that led to the demise of paleo. Along comes keto. Same thing. Everybody was real rah-rah. It was real organic the way it started. People read my book, Keto Clarity, and then other people came in. And what you guys don't know is a lot of the keto books that came out, I helped to get them signed. And so I don't advertise that, but a lot of the popular keto books that got out there, I helped to get them a publisher to get their word out there about their book and about their message and everything. So I was grateful to do that. I'm definitely a pay it forward kind of guy. But I think some of that popularity then begot some of the shoppers again. And they came in and, like vultures, have tried to make a buck off of the trend rather than actually caring about the people that they're trying to help. So yeah, just be discerning. Look for those people who look legit and don't sound like they're trying to sell you on things constantly. Let them sell you every once in a while, but if they give you good information, like I said, I give all of my podcasts away for free. They don't cost you anything. You may have to listen to the ad, but other than that, it doesn't cost you anything. Same here with Jimmy Rants. Doesn't cost you anything, but I give you information for free. And hopefully through me being generous with my time and the information that I share, then you're like, oh, let me go support that guy by buying Keto Clarity. That's how you help me. And that's my business philosophy. What about excess skin from weight loss? What can you share on that and preventing infection? So I've vacillated back and forth on this one a lot over the years because I think excess skin is going to be an inevitability for those who have yo-yoed their whole life. And so if you've lost weight, gain weight, lost weight, gain weight, you're going to have a loss of the elasticity in your skin. So those people, it probably won't bounce back. Now, I know some people who did lose a lot of weight, had excess skin, and they got the surgery to remove it. And they've been very happy about it. It's a brutal surgery, by the way, and all kind of little drainage things and all kind of stuff. I also know people who have gone to get the skin removal surgery and they died. So at the end of the day, you make that choice about what matters to you. Is it an aesthetic thing? Is it that you lose that weight and you get down, you have this like reminder? And some people see it as a badge of honor. Some people let it drag them down. And it's at that point you determine which is the philosophy you're going to take. And if it brings you down and you think it may make you rebound, consider your options. There's creams out there that might be able to help. Fasting actually does help tighten some of that up as well. But again, it depends on how bad the elasticity has been damaged in you. So that's going to be a personal decision that you decide if it's worth the risk. A friend of mine recently found out their young daughter is type 1 diabetic. Is there any benefit of keto, low carb, and type 1? Their doctor has discouraged it. Oh, for sure. The reason the doctor has discouraged it is because type 1 diabetics have this thing called, that they need to be concerned about, called ketoacidosis. So ketoacidosis sounds very similar to ketosis. What ketoacidosis is a type 1 diabetic who then eats a large carbohydrate-based meal, but then they don't take any insulin. So what happens? Their blood sugar goes way, way up. Because remember, a type 1 diabetic makes no insulin. Their pancreas is pretty much petered out, no beta cell production, nothing. So as a result, if they eat a lot high carb meal and their blood sugar starts going through the roof, like astronomically high, well in excess of 250 milligrams per deciliter, guess what the body does to compensate? It starts raising ketones in the body. And it does that because it thinks the body is starving. And so ketone levels go up and up and up and up, well beyond nutritional ketosis. Nutritional ketosis is like 0.5 to 3. Ketoacidosis is 20 on the, okay? So that is a highly dangerous state for a diabetic, type 1 diabetic to be in, because they could go in a coma and die if they don't get insulin, electrolytes, and some other things pronto. So this is why doctors trying to help their patients with type 1 diabetes highly discourage ketogenic diets. Ketogenic diets have nothing to do with ketoacidosis. Ketogenic diets put your body in a state of healthy nutritional ketosis, but they do it in the state of a lower glucose. So that's the key. Ketoacidosis is extremely high blood glucose, extremely high blood ketones. Nutritional ketosis is lower blood sugar within the normal range and a more moderate, kind of low to moderate level of ketones. So it's not going to be harmful. There's plenty of evidence out there. Definitely look up the work of Dr. Steve Phinney and Dr. Jeff Volek. They wrote this book, The Art and Science of Low Carbohydrate Living, and they talk all about the ins and outs of nutritional ketosis and how it is different than ketoacidosis. But thank you for that. Kira says, what's a good app for adding watermarks to my Instagram pics? I found some people stole my keto before and afters to sell their products that I never used. I don't want my images stolen. Oh, that happens all the time. I've had many a times over the years where I have personally sent cease and desist letters to companies on behalf of friends of mine. In fact, one time I did a blog post about this weight loss company in Seattle, and they used one of my friend's pictures, before and after pictures, to promote their program. And she said, that wasn't me. I never used that. Why are they using mine? And so I did a big post exposing it and named names. Like I was naming people in the company and da-da-da. I get this email. Oh, could you please remove that? That's harming our business. I said, good. That was its intention. Oh, but you don't understand. No, I understand completely. You stole some pictures of some friends of mine, and I've got a platform to expose your butt. Live with the consequences. So I understand the problem there, Kira. I don't know of any specific apps, but I'm sure if you did a search for watermark social media on apps, you should be able to find something. Doesn't seem very hard that you could create a watermark. I see people use it all the time. But But no, I don't use watermarks on my stuff because most of my stuff, it's like, please spread it. I don't care. But you're right. On your before and after pictures, you definitely want to protect those. Keto Mojo, a good test kit. It's decent. I'm not a fan of Keto Mojo. Pretty volatile in the numbers that you get back that aren't very accurate. I do like the Keto Coach X meter if you're going to test blood ketones. So that would be the one I would use. Kelly Hogan is a good person to follow. Yes, she's the queen of carnivore diets. Do you think keto can help with psoriasis, says David? Yeah, psoriasis is an autoimmune disease, and I think not just keto alone, there's going to be some other things, but I think the autoimmune protocol along with keto would be helpful. So look up AIP, autoimmune protocol, and keto, and you should be able to see a diet that would work for that. It's basically cutting out all the things that would exacerbate the autoimmune disease. All right, thank you, Facebook. Let me pop over here now to my YouTube channel. What's up, YouTube? Appreciate you guys being here today. Happy New Year. Fat the Documentary 2 is now live, says Norma. I'm watching it on Prime. So far, it's great. Good. I'm going to look that up. I have Amazon Prime Video, and I didn't realize. Is that Vinny Tortorich's documentary? Yeah, I think he did that fat. I started keto in October of 2017. Weight was not my issue. It was and is health and trying to avoid genetic family health issues. That's good, PJ. Shirley says, I still have my pack of disinfectant wipes that had pre-pandemic. I also stopped the hand sanitizer use in April. To be honest, I just wanted to get on with 9-1-Divock. I'm not sure if we ever will. Feels that way. And I think there are some people that are trying to milk this thing for as long as they can because they sure do love the power that comes from it. Dennis said thyroid issues can and will often take a back seat to adrenal issues. What's the solution? Try to de-stress and implement mild walking and exercise. I love it, Dennis. What are your cortisol levels? Does the diet control cortisol excess? Says Music. Great question. I have not tested my cortisol in a while. The last time I tested it was a year and a half ago. And it was right before I went on sabbatical. And when I tested it, people think, okay, I have high cortisol. Most of the time you don't have high cortisol. What you have is the tank. And it needs at times in the day, but not super low. And if it's super low the whole day, you're going to feel that at that time. I was just drained of energy. I was just struggling mentally, just wasn't in a good place. And so keto definitely can help, but I think it has less to do with your diet. Diet's definitely a good foundation, but more to do with meditation, de-stressing, doing fun things, movement. Those kinds of things can definitely bring those things into order. When your cortisol is off, don't be surprised if it's in the tank, not high, but in the tank. Have you noticed the new branding for WW? Yeah, I did a Jimmy Rants, Norma, on Weight Watchers rebranding to WW. That was about 3 months ago. I did that 3 or 4 months ago. I did that Jimmy Rants. Go look it up. I'm surprised because Norma, you are one of my super fans. You missed that one. If you type in on YouTube, if you type in a keyword WW Jimmy Rants, you'll probably find it. Or Weight Watchers Jimmy Rants, you'll definitely find it. Early diagnosis of type 1 and early adoption of strict keto gradually restores basal levels of beta cells in the pancreas. Okay, well, it's still minimal that you would still be insulin dependent, even if it did restore beta cells, Dennis. But thank you for that. All right, let's see if any last minute ones came in over here. Nope. That's it. So guys, happy New Year to you. Hope you enjoy the rest of your January 1st, 2021. You did make it. You're here. We're alive. We have a new day. And it's time to get out and whatever goals you have. If you want to set some goals for yourself, go get them. Go get them. Don't back down. And don't let anybody discourage you from whatever that goal is. For me, I don't want to live another day without being grateful for all the blessings I've had in my life, and being somebody that can be there for people, constantly feeding into others. I do that already, but I want to be extremely deliberate about it in 2021. Constantly trying to see how can I make the world of other people better. And here's what happens when you do that. Your world gets better as well. So hopefully that encourages you here today. And that's it for this episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. And as always, you can engage live in the content. Go follow me. I'm right here, Jimmy Rants, over on Instagram. Go follow me there Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern time. We have lots of shows prepared for you coming up in the next few weeks, months, hopefully years, decades. If I'm still doing Jimmy Rants a decade from now, I want one of you to say, yeah, man, we're still here. Haven't gone anywhere. If you missed the live, you can watch it on the replay right here on Jimmy Rants. We simulcast on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. You can see the past episodes up over on YouTube. Type in the keyword Jimmy Rants. You will find the show. By the way, YouTube on Sundays now is when we're going to debut my brand new podcast called One Step Deeper. I do that show with my best friend, Brittany Davis. So the podcast will be airing on Mondays in my regular format. So because it's going to air in audio format on Mondays, Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern is when we're going to do the big premiere on YouTube. So go follow me at YouTube. If you type in a keyword Jimmy Rants, you'll find the show, and then find my username. Click on subscribe and then hit the bell for all. And when that happens, you will get a notification when we go live. And Brittany and I will be live from 4 to 5 p.m. on Sunday, each Sunday, basically interacting with you as our new episode is playing in video form. So excited about that. And then we've got Livin' La Vida Low Carb show coming back next week, as well as Real Talk, the full shebang, full Jimmy Moore experience. And of course, every day here on Jimmy Rants, we will be here. JimmyRants.com is the website. So guys, enjoy your special holiday weekend, and we'll see you again on Monday. Bye. All right. Twitch, you don't ever talk to me. I see you on there. Cat got your tongue. Like literally, I see people on there. Just say hi. Somebody yesterday did say hi, but that's literally all they did. They said something like, oh, I made it or something. So I appreciate you watching though. And if you're watching on the replay, I know some people have watched it on the replay, but I'm going to sign off now. You're not talking to me. I don't want to talk to you. Bye guys. All right. Ended the Twitch stream. That is the weirdest thing. Like there's people on there. I can see them physically on there, but they're just not talking to me. I don't get it. Don't get it at all. I will be 80 in a decade, Berkeley. Well, you'll be one of my young listeners. Just kidding, Berkeley. And maybe by 80, you'll beat me in Words with Friends, Berkeley. I'm just kidding. I enjoy playing you in Words with Friends. One of these days, you're going to kick my butt. And I'm going to be like, see, it was meant to be. It was meant to be. Well, thank you guys for being here today on Jimmy Rants, and we will see you guys Monday. Bye. All righty. Let me upload this here. Share. Come on in, Twitch. Come on in. Stop. All right, YouTube. What am I going to do with you? Thank you guys for being here as well. Hope you guys are enjoying your day and have lots of things in store. Are you cooking out or doing anything like that? Just whatever you're deciding to do for this holiday weekend, enjoy it. And we'll see you guys again next week as well.